Cameroon today finds itself at one of the most paradoxical, unpredictable crossroads in its long and troubled political journey. And at the center of this unfolding drama is a name many of you know very well. A name once synonymous with loyalty to Paul Biya's regime. A man who for over 30 decades defended the very system that has suffocated the dreams of generations. I am talking about Issa Tchiroma, the man you find with me on the screen. Now here is where the paradox deepens. Over the last few weeks and months, Issa Tchiroma has been pulling the kinds of crowds politicians dream of, whether in Garoua, his native northern stronghold, or in the east and south, the very heartland of Paul Biya's fortress. People have been showing up in their tens of thousands to listen to Issa Tchiroma. Not trickling in out of curiosity, but converging, swelling into human seas, eager to listen, eager to hear what Issa Tchiroma has to say. And it begs the question, what exactly is going on here? Because if elections in Cameroon were genuinely free, if the playing field were not tilted, if the machinery of power were not rigged in favor of the incumbent and his cronies, Issa Tchiroma, judging by the sheer energy on the ground, could already be spoken of as the next president of La République du Cameroun. That's how massive his rallies have become. That's how magnetic his message appeared to be. But pause for a moment, because this is where the element of surprise cuts deep. The surprise is not that a politician is pulling crowds in La République du Cameroun. Cameroonians are hungry for change, and they will listen to anyone who speaks a new language of hope. The surprise is that this new hope is being embodied not by a long-standing opposition leader, not by an activist who has paid the price of dissent, not by a young reformer rising from the grassroots, but by a man who sat inside the very dictatorship for nearly 4 decades. Let's be honest here. If one were to go searching for a political savior for La République du Cameroun, the last place you did expect to look is inside the belly of Paul Biya's rotten establishment. For more than 30 years, Issa Tchiroma defended Biya's policies, explained away the government's failures, and in many moments was the very face of his propaganda machinery. He was not only inside a house of rot, he was helping maintain it, break by break, and word by word. So understandably, when he resigned a few months ago and announced his candidacy, many people rolled their eyes. They blinked. Many political analysts, many everyday Cameroonians dismissed him immediately. They saw in his move nothing more than a clever tactic. Resign now, pretend to oppose, run for election, gather some attention, and then after it all, negotiate a cushy appointment in Biya's next government. That's what the skeptics said. That's what they saw. That's what the street concluded. This man is not serious, they said. This is another game of survivor, another political chameleon at work, many thought. And you cannot blame the skepticism. After all, Cameroon's politics has been filled with opportunists who cloak themselves with a garment of change, only to go back to the master's table, Paul Biya's table, to ask for the crumbs or to share the crumbs. But now, ladies and gentlemen, as weeks have rolled into months, something peculiar is happening. Issa Tchiroma's rallies have grown bigger. His speeches have shifted in tone. His message, direct, passionate, and laced with the pain of ordinary Cameroonians, seems to be cutting deeper than anyone anticipated. Suddenly, political pundits are whispering, could we have misjudged this man? Could it be that, for once, a defector from the Biya system has not just jumped ship for survival, but is actually determined to steer the ship of the nation in a new direction? This is the million-dollar question. Can Issa Tchiroma really win? And beyond winning, does he genuinely have the resolve to save Cameroon from the shame, from the mess he was part of? Because let's not sanitize history. The mess we talk about, the crumbling infrastructure, the suffocated democracy, the silenced voices, the plundered economy, the insecurity, it is a mess he was once part of, whether by action or by silence. So when he now says, and I quote, I will fix Cameroon, the counter question is inevitable. But sir, were you not standing in the very room when it was broken? That is a tension. That is a paradox. And this is where tonight's conversation becomes important. We must also be honest with ourselves about human nature. Sometimes, reformers do emerge from the belly of old systems. Sometimes those who once defended a regime come face to face with their conscience, their people, and their history, and they decide to change course. Sometimes, too, it is the insider who knows the depth of the rot who becomes most passionate about uprooting it, about fixing it. We've seen that time and again in history. Could this be the case with Issa Tchiroma? In his candidacy, is his candidacy simply a personal quest for redemption? A man seeking to rewrite his legacy before the curtain falls? Or is it a genuine desire to offer Cameroon a new path? And if it is genuine, what exactly is driving it? Is it the pressure of history? Or is it simply the cry of the people finally breaking through the walls of his conscience? Whatever the answer, whatever the case, what cannot be denied is that the crowds are real. The people are showing up. And in a country where fatigue with the status quo is universal, any message that sounds like freedom, like change, like dignity regained, resonates immediately. But here is where we must also confront harsh reality, ladies and gentlemen. In Cameroon, crowds do not always translate into ballots, and ballots do not always translate into victory. We saw that in the early days of John Frundi and his SDF, Social Democratic Front. Elections are not simply a matter of numbers, but of systems. Systems that for 4 decades have been perfected to secure one outcome, and one outcome only: poor beer. So while Issa Tchiroma may be pulling unprecedented crowds, while he may be igniting fresh hope, the question of whether that can be converted into real victory remains highly uncertain. Tonight, though, we are not here to speculate endlessly. We are here to look deeper, to peel the layers, to hear from someone who knows Issa Tchiroma not just as a politician, but as a dad, as a father. And so it is with great honor that I welcome today's broadcast a very special guest, Issa Tchiroma's own senior daughter, Rohaya Tchiroma. Rohaya has witnessed the evolution of his father, not from the outside as the rest of us have, but from within, across the dinner tables, across quiet conversations, across the moments of tension and doubt that the public never sees. She has seen him navigate power. She has seen him resign. And now she is seeing him on the campaign trail, speaking with the energy of a man newly reborn. So tonight, we will ask her the questions many of you at home are asking. Who really is Issa Tchiroma at this moment in history? What is truly driving him to step out of beer's shadow after so many years? What does she see in her father that perhaps the rest of us do not see? Does she believe the father has the steel, the courage, the sincerity to save Cameroon? This is about truth. This is about clarity. This is about trying to understand whether the man we are seeing on the campaign trail is a new Issa Tchiroma, or simply the same man in a new costume.